It's now time for another episode of the Off-Road Toolbox. A Jeepers guide to everything off-road. Powered by Best Price Trailers.
Hey, welcome to another episode of the Off-Road Toolbox. I'm Jeff.
I'm Bart.
And behind the mad camera over there
right here is me. I'm Rob.
That's him.
So,
that's Rob. That's Rob.
So, hey, what's going on, guys?
It's hot, man. It's hot.
Well, it's summertime, you know.
Summertime is here. Oh, we had a launch go up today. Did you guys hear it?
Yes, we did have a launch go up
Yes.
as of this recording. Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep. Sorry, folks. Yep.
It didn't blow up.
No.
No, it was a manned.
Manned one.
Yeah, it was
It's kind of
manned.
neat to see it or hear it. We're so lucky. But it is summertime.
Big one went up. That was a big one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Man, that thing took off and I was like, woo. I wouldn't want to be on the top of it.
So
anyhow,
what's going on for today, gentlemen?
well,
This is a conversation that we had that started innocently that I take for granted if somebody goes on a road trip or summertime trips that they have this whole plan on how to check their vehicle. And they don't. I found out. Of course, and then when I write mine, I'm in the weeds
there you go.
where you're up, at least 10,000 feet where I'm like down nap of the earth when I do things. So it's important to check your vehicle before you go on a trip.
Very important.
So that's what's today is the
Check your vehicle.
Just things to think about.
Yes.
summertime checklist.
Summertime checklist, things that you want to really pay attention to because the heat takes it out of everything.
Yes.
I mean, more so down here in the South, but it still gets warm. It gets hot. I mean, Michigan right now is 82 degrees as of this recording. So yeah, it's important.
Yep. And don't do it 2 days before your trip. Just
Don't ask why.
I'm like a month out before I actually have a
Yeah, but
road
things
trip.
can happen
So
in that month's time.
I got a trip coming up to North Carolina, so I'm going to be driving. And so I go through my vehicle. I mean, I want it gone through, so I don't want to be on the side of the road. Even though I'm traveling by myself, that's still going to be fun.
No.
Versus having the wife and the kids, and you're breaking down, and you're going to get, like, it's hot, and things don't work. So
You know, it's funny you say that. I'll be heading to North Carolina in a couple of weeks, and I do the same thing. But I'm always maintaining my vehicle. If I know something's wrong, if I knew, I've got a schedule anyway.
Most people just do the very basics.
Yeah.
They check the oil.
yes.
They look at the windshield.
Yep.
They look at their tires. Okay, I checked everything. We're good.
And you're going to go to California.
Yeah.
Like they're the Clampets. Yeah, we're going to go
Well,
on a trip.
I bring it to my mechanic and say, look, this is what I'm doing.
Yep.
This is what. So they'll go through and check it for me.
And that's
but-
what I did.
But a lot of us do our own wrench turning. So, there's things that you have to think about.
Right.
Like,
What do you want to start
Tires?
with me?
well, let's start at the grill. The grill is the most important part
Yes,
because if you overheat that motor,
correct.
you're going to cook it. There's 10 grand maybe.
So just something simple is washing out your radiator
Yep. Flush the radiator.
or washing it out. I mean, just washing out the fins.
Washing out the fins.
Washing out the fins, checking your radiator. In my case, so over the past year, every now and again, my reservoir was low, so I didn't have any more antifreeze or coolant. So I just put water in. So the mechanic I had, and I asked him to double check everything. So the little old squeeze ball thing, sorry folks, where you dip it in, it's got the little balls that float, right?
Yep.
So I was low on coolant, which I didn't realize over the year, that little bit.
Yeah, you dilute the
Diluted
antifreeze.
it. And that's kind of important.
Yeah, it is.
Check all your hoses, check your clamps, check, all those things you can check for the coolant, because if your vehicle doesn't cool, you don't go.
Exactly. I mean, just visual looking.
Yes.
Serpentine belt.
Good. Sorry, folks. Good point. That was one of mine. And it's something simple and cheap. And it'd been 3 years for mine. And I just said, look at it. But when he looked at it and double checked, I had two bad pulleys, or pulleys that were starting to go bad. Starting to go bad with the bearings. So again, great catch.
Yeah, but too is how many miles you got on it and how much maintenance as far as repair work have you done to it.
Oh, I'm up. And that's because he goes, when'd you do it? I'm like, 3 years ago at this many miles. We will go over everything, so ball joints. So let's get back to the serpentine belt. It's been 3 years. So we said, hey, let me look at it. And that's a cheap thing. He goes, he did. But when he was looking at it and then double checking it, he found, these are just starting to wobble or go. Again, the two pulleys. And that operates so much. I mean,
oh, without a doubt.
Air conditioning,
Steering,
your
AC,
yes.
water pump.
Yep. So you kind of need it.
It's an important piece.
Yes.
The pulleys too. I mean, if they start to wobble, then that just chews up that belt.
Yep. And if you hear, you shouldn't be hearing a belt noise or a pulley noise. So if you start to hear it, get it looked at.
Yep. Carry an extra one with you.
I do. Well, now I've always carried an extra belt. That's been for years.
We were telling them to.
Correct.
I got to tell you a story. I had an issue with the pulleys in the Jeep. This was a few years ago, and they were going. I could tell they were going, but I kept, all right, I can do it. I can take care of it later. I'm on ISB in between DeLand and Daytona in the middle of really nowhere, and all of a sudden, bam, belt throws gone. I mean, everything cracked. It took a little bit of investigating, and I had to hunt down for the part for a 97 TJ, and it's a little different. They made them different as the years went on. So you had to really find one that was exclusive to that year. But I ended up finding one, and it took a little bit of time. But we got it done.
Yep. And so get it checked, folks. Check those things out.
Yes.
What do you got next?
Let's go to air filter.
Clean it. Or replace it. So
recharge if you do a
if you have the
K&N.
K&N or the cold air intakes, bring them out, clean them. Yep. You got to let them dry, then you got to spray them, then you got to put them back in. Otherwise,
because that will affect how cool the motor runs too.
So if you don't have one of those, go to the auto parts store and buy them.
Just buy a filter, and
they're cheap,
like $10-12.
Yes.
Takes about 5 minutes to do it.
A couple of years ago, that may have been 10, 12.
Even then, it's still.
Okay. I mean, I know, but the point being, definitely get it done.
Yep.
Yeah.
Whatever. For me, with spark plugs, I said, hey, just pull a spark plug just to check. Because I think it's been like 3 years, and I looked, and it was 3 years. Guess what? The one he pulled was going bad. So new spark plugs, and I drive too much. That's part of my problem. So, but again, new spark plugs, and then wires are cheap. So
yeah, I mean, it's good to do it for safety wise.
Yes.
It's cheap insurance so that you don't mess up something very expensive.
Yes.
Would you rather spend $100 or $10,000?
And for us, again, going on a road trip, got your family, whatever, you don't want to be broken down on the side of the road. When little things you can do and just stay up on them. Not everybody keeps their records. I had a guy I worked with, Daryl Runge. I bought a truck for my daughter. He had everything he did for his truck in a little notepad in his truck. It was a 4-wheel drive truck. It was a great truck. And in fact, that truck is still running today. My daughter sold it. It was too small for her, a little 4-wheel drive Isuzu. But Daryl had every record. And that always impressed me.
And that's good, though.
But so with me, I have a little running log. So that's how I happen to know, okay, when did I do tires? When did I do ball joints? When did I do brakes? When do I do radiators? I have it.
See something, too. You've got a smartphone. You can get a program that you can put all that stuff in.
True. That's a really good point. For the
2 minutes to type it out and they're done. It's
versus the
forever.
Old paper and pencil. That's me and my little note.
And here's another thing we were talking about, just the vehicle itself. But what if we are driving, we're pulling a trailer, a best price trailer, by the way.
Yes.
We are powered by Best Price Trailers.
Yes, we are.
So how'd I work that in there? That was nice.
That was nice.
How about that? So you make sure that everything is set for that as well.
Exactly. But again, if you're going to be trailering, you're going to need good brakes. You're going to be overworking your engine just a little bit. So the radiator is important again. So you're back
radiator,
with everything we've talked about.
Tranny cooler, all that stuff
is going to apply. And then with your trailer, again, the tires, the brakes. We get to the tires.
Yep. If you run low tire pressure, without a good pattern, guess what happens? Heat
builds up on the inside and it deteriorates
the tires.
The inside. And also, as I'm learning for my second time, is that dry rot will hit our tires just from the Florida heat. Although my tires are 7 years old, and I've only got almost like 67,000 miles on them. I got plenty of tread, but I'm starting to see the little cracks.
So are you confident you can drive up to where you got to go to and back?
It's because it's real minor. It's at the first stages of it.
Okay.
So I put some stuff on it that's supposedly to help it.
And what stuff's that?
I'm using a 303 protectant.
Okay.
So I read a bunch of articles, and everybody says this and says that.
So you're going to be my guinea pig then?
Well, the neat thing is it's not leaking air, so we're still good, and it's not big alligator cracks. It's real fine.
Okay.
It's when it gets to the next stage, which I'm already in the process now of hitting up my. So I get some stuff from 4-wheel parts. They've been really good to me. They're coming to. They came to the rescue for ball joints and U joints and stuff. Good group. We banter a lot. And so we all the time, and usually at Jeep Beach, like again, I bought those tires and wheels 7 years ago at Jeep Beach and got a great deal. And so now I'm looking, I'll price shop, and I always price shop, and then I have my contact at Full Row Parts, and he laughs because we've been doing this for 10 years. For 10 years, we have this little routine going, but it's great, and it's a great working relationship. And when I need stuff, I can either email them or I can send them a message. And if they don't respond that day, it's the next day they respond, and then they keep me going.
Yeah, you build a great rapport with them.
Yes.
That you trust them to work on the vehicle. You
Correct.
trust to help you get what you need.
Correct.
And that's hard to come by. I mean, you can go to AutoZone, you can go to all these box stores, but they look in their computer and they don't understand what you need or what you want.
Or they don't know it as well.
Exactly.
Again, so we're talking about sorry, folks, ball joints. Do you want smooth or knurled ball joints? Well, it makes a difference for putting them in, and it depends on how old is it. Have you replaced them before? When you're seating or setting the ball joints, has it been wallowed out just from age and wear? That's when you need to knurl. If you don't need knurl, then go with smooth.
What's knurl?
It's
the grooves cut in it.
grooves are cut up horizontal on them.
Yep.
Okay.
That actually go in and embed into the metal.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's wallowed out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it makes so you're going to have a better. It's going to seat properly versus having any play in it.
Okay.
And it's age.
Now, my contribution, you guys are really getting technical in this. I would say, how about let's not forget about the wipers?
Oh, we're going to get to that.
we're
Oh,
getting there.
yeah.
Oh, yeah?
We kind of had a squirrel moment there.
Okay.
Yeah, we
All
do.
right.
And we're down the rabbit hole on one of my other many things. So in the South, we have things called love bugs.
Love bugs. We have mayflies.
Yes.
Over around the rivers.
And big flies that hit us, big bugs that hit us.
Yep.
And all those things will eventually tear up your wiper blades.
You try to get the goo off of it.
Yes.
Even though you're hitting it with the water,
Yes.
it's not.
You know, and they can dry rot as well because of the
without a
heat.
doubt.
You know,
in
that's
Florida-
especially during the dry season when
Yes.
you're not really using.
Yes.
Well, like right
The-
now.
yeah,
We haven't
right
had
now
any
is not
rain
bad.
in
So,
some time.
when everybody else can get 6 months to a year to wiper blades, Florida, even when I'm running silicone, I'm looking at 3 to 4 months and I got to change them out just strictly from the heat. So that's
hard.
and you don't want to be on the interstate in a downpour and can't see.
Rain-X.
Yeah, but I don't do Rain-X on my windshield.
Why?
Sometimes at nighttime it smears and I get a glare because of my old age, my old eyes. Versus I didn't used to get those. So I put Rain-X on all of my side and rear windows. So when I'm on the interstate,
You know, you can get the Rain-X to go inside the
Anti-fog?
anti-fog.
well,
You're talking about into
the additive.
Yeah.
Into the reservoir.
But
I do that.
the only thing with that, it breaks down your wipers
Really?
because it got alcohol base in it, and the alcohol dries out the rubber.
Yeah.
For some reason, I keep referring to my old rattle bucket. The thing about it is now they don't work, and I can't get the fluid to work on them, right? And I'm like, the reservoir looks like it's gunked up inside there.
Yeah.
And that needs. I think I need to take
Yes.
take it right out, clean it up, and the hose.
Yep.
Put new hose and a
the
new
hose
pump in it,
itself.
you'll be good to go.
You can buy a new one. You can go right on and order them and get them.
But I don't
shipped here.
travel far with that, so.
Dude, I guess a lot of Rain-X on your windshield. Usually Rain-X really works. I mean,
I've been good with it. I mean, like you said, for the first couple days, it does have a haze to it.
Yep.
But you hit it with a water hose and wash it off good.
buff it and clean
Buff
it, wipe it.
looks good.
But that's again real important is wiper blades, especially in our thunder when we hit our thunderstorms. Kind of important to do
Yes. Another thing is, how are you going to start your vehicle?
with a key.
Well, back in the day, right?
Yeah.
Like our old ones.
Old
yeah, sure.
ones, yeah.
The battery.
So the battery.
Battery heats
batteries
up-
are
yes.
affected by both cold and
In heat.
hot.
Yep.
So double check those. I mean, go to the box store. They can throw their little tool on it, make
Yep.
sure it's still good.
Excellent point.
I mean, you do it
Check
every
your
6
terminals.
months.
Check the tightness of the terminals. Very, very important.
Interesting story. I have a truck that's parked right outside the window here. The yellow thing, you can kind of see it back there. I had some issues with that, and my mechanic, I told him, said, it stalls once in a while. I'm not sure what's going on, and I'll play around with it a little bit, but I don't touch the batteries and all that stuff. And he did say that he goes, the connections were loose.
Yep.
And he goes, and those Dodge trucks, he said, those Dodge trucks, they don't like that. So I
So,
don't think many cars
Not
do.
only check them, make sure there's no corrosion, no buildup, no powder, all that's got to be cleaned out. It's got to be tight. But also, if you look around, you'll see other ground points on your vehicle. So on my Jeep, I have 3 other grounds that ground to the frame. I have 3.
I got 4.
So either I hit those with corrosion block, or I check them with the, make sure they're tight, and then I hit them with corrosion block, because all those will send signals back and forth. So having a good battery, or if you don't have a sealed battery, pop the cap and check the fluid level.
Yep.
Guys, you'd have a field day with my Jeep. You're talking about so many things that I'm going, man. I've got this little wires going all over the place, and
so like we have a routine going, and it's here's how we check our vehicle. But I've since found out. Well, I can ask. My kids grew up doing this, but do you think my kids do it?
No, because they're kids.
I grew up doing it. I grew up checking, and then when I went overseas, where your vehicle or your vessel is mission critical, I've gotten a lot more serious with it. But I have my routine, like we're talking about, of how I go through and check everything, and the things that I can't check on a big trip, go to the mechanic. Hey, I double check all these things just in case I miss something or it's not. Again, having a lift where you can check all the wheel bearings, you can check your ball joints. You can check all your linkages. You can get underneath at your drive shaft, check all those things. So that's what, again, it's cheap. I'm paying for it, but do I want to pay now or pay later? Pay later on the side of the road? No.
Mm-mm. Well, that's even, us doing the local runs, I still check everything over.
Yes, I do.
I forgot to check one time, and I lost my rear wheel.
Well, that wasn't good.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't fun.
Wasn't good? No.
I didn't hurt anybody, and I didn't get hurt.
So something simple is checking your lug nuts then.
Yep.
Overlooked.
Especially with the aluminum alloy and all that, because they're supposed to be torqued to a certain percent. Most of it's just doing ugga-dugga.
Yes. No.
1 ugga-dugga, 2 ugga-dugga, and you can split a rim.
Yeah.
You can not have them tight enough. And I found out.
Or did they get loose and they're wallowed out and you didn't pay attention?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that happen. I've seen where just a little bit of play and next thing you know, things are wallowing out. Yep. So we check those. What else we got?
How about checking your AC? Especially down here.
So I had, in my case, I was driving.
I think we all have stories.
We
about
do,
AC.
but I was driving and all of a sudden it started blowing warm. So I turned it all off. Actually, I was coming back from Ocala from the sheriff's. I had a big meeting with the Sheriff's Association. They have the big Agricultural Range Deputy Association, and I was a guest speaker. But coming back, and we're talking about off-road driving, as a matter of fact. And so my AC started blowing warm. I'm like, what the heck? It's been beautiful. Of course, it's 91 degrees. So I turn it off, let it sit, and then a few minutes later, it comes back on for 10 minutes. And then I'm like, what the heck, all right, let's put all the windows down. And then 20 minutes later, it works fine. So when I brought it to have him check, I'm like, hey, I had that happen. And so he just, again, go through it all. He went through it all. And he goes, let me just recirculate it. Let me put it through my thing, recirculate it, make sure it's done right. And he did. And it was now I'm
Probably
good.
needed just a little Freon.
That's what I'm thinking. And I shouldn't have had a leak, but it's been 2 years, 3 years.
The O-rings on those things will slowly deteriorate, just like a tire.
Yes.
It's small. It takes it'll go quicker. So
now in 97 and mine, here's an AC story.
Do you even have AC?
Yes, I do have AC.
Okay.
It blows cold. However, now at the fan, it's a 97, so it's the slider.
Yes.
Okay. It's not the dials.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. Now, so when you do dial it to turn the fan, right, the first 3 are powered by the unit.
Yep.
The high is powered by a switch in the steering column.
I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
Yep.
So I found that out. So I can be driving down the road, I'll put it on high, and every once in a while it'll go out. I'll shake the key ring, just shake it, and it'll pop back on again. And then it'll go out. I'll shake it again, it'll pop. So, I mean, I don't drive it that much with the top up. Nearly as much as I used to. So I'd fix it. I had a switch replaced once. It didn't really work too well for maybe a little while, but it stopped.
Because if you get that cheap China stuff, it doesn't last long.
Right.
I've learned that the hard way.
So I mean, that's everything you're talking about. I'm like, I know something about. You talked about your tire falling off.
Yeah.
I had that happen. I'm not going to go. I think we talked about that before.
We talked about that in the past episode.
Yeah.
So the other thing would be is you make sure all your fluids are topped off, your oil, your transmission. How do you check your transmission?
Automatic.
Automatic.
Yeah.
You're going to be on a flat level ground, in neutral, engine running.
Very good.
On my vehicle.
I remember that. Yeah.
How about standard?
And some of them don't have a dipstick, so I don't know where if they have a filler hole or a
You have to go to filler
It's
hole.
a filler hole.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no dipstick.
No, I know there's not, but I didn't know if
But yeah, both for the transfer case, there's a
Yep.
hole. For the tranny itself, there's a hole.
Yep.
Now, the transfer case on Jeep uses ATF basically.
Yes.
So
I'm getting mine done.
ATF?
Automatic transmission fluid.
automatic transmission fluid.
So my transfer case, because the guy goes, "When's the last time you did it?" And I'm like, "I'll have to look, but I bet you it's been 3 years ago because I did my diffs. I want to do my diffs. I do my."
That's another one. The front and rear differential. Or if you have a truck, it's got usually it's independent front.
Yes.
There's independent IFS in the front.
Yeah.
You just have the one pumpkin.
my
Right.
back. So so mine's getting changed out, and my brake fluid's he's going to recirculate
Circulate.
because it collects water.
It collects water and it does
Deteriorate.
break down,
Yep.
deteriorate.
So again, a good little thing. So yes.
Another thing is if you're doing a lot of towing, whether it be a light camper
Yep.
or off-road UTV
Or our
whatever.
trailer.
Our trailer.
Our best price trailer
Exactly.
from Best Price Trailers.
.com.
There you go.
But yeah, whenever you're towing, you want to be more frequent with changing your fluids.
Oh, yeah.
Because once again, you're heating everything up more so than a normal drive down the road.
Right. Okay.
So
Check all your lights, parking lights, turn signal lights, headlights, brake lights, tail lights. Check all those before you go on your trip.
Blinkers.
Because they'll go. If it starts blinking super fast, you have a bulb out.
Yes, you do.
I thought it was
Like-
low, you were low on
Blinker fluid.
Blinker fluid, yeah.
Nope.
I think blinker fluid's out on one of mine. It's a problem with my
or
Jeep.
you have to go tap it.
Guys, I'm telling you right now, you'd have a field day with mine. You
Oh,
would
I
just
know I
love it.
would.
We could probably have episode after episode just trying to fix that thing.
It may happen.
Maybe one day down the road, I'll just have to buy the parts and I'll say, guys, have at it.
We'll have a wrenching.
A wrenching party, yeah.
Yes. Keep your car clean. Inside and out.
Yes.
That's an easy thing. And
Except
me-
for kids.
yeah,
My
kids are hard. Kids
my
are very
kids
hard.
challenged.
Rotate your tires.
Rotate your tires, tire pressure.
Yep.
Check your tire pressure. Here's a little thing if you can. Find a shady spot.
I tend to do that. Well, not today. I can't.
No,
There's no
there's
shade
no
around our
shade
building
here.
here
Well,
in the
if
office.
we parked out there in the middle of the field, we might be able to get a little shade.
Well, then, yeah. If you, well, yeah. but
Yeah,
that-
but actually, a lot of places I do. The first place I'll go to is I'll go to the shade,
Right.
Because it just makes it cool. It's better on the vehicle and
the paint.
easier to cool off. Yeah,
Yeah.
because the clear
Saves
coats gets eaten up by the sun.
Yeah, especially down here.
Yeah,
Keep your engine cool. What I mean by that is if you're parked and you got your engine running, let's say you're out on the trail and you stop somewhere and you don't want to turn it off, open the hood and let that heat out
yes,
because it will heat soak everything.
good point. And don't park in high grass with your catalytic converter if you're out on the trail,
Or even low grass.
because it can catch fire
Low grass, I mean,
Yeah.
my yard almost caught on fire the other day
from a catalytic converter. Mm-hmm. Wow.
off a Jeep.
Okay.
So it throws a lot of heat down. I mean,
Yeah, they do.
If you're
Yeah, they
sitting
do.
in the passenger seat, you know how
Yeah.
much heat it does.
Yeah. Good point.
Yourself, stay hydrated.
We've talked about that.
Yes, we've talked about it.
And actually, I'm big on when I travel. Besides bringing, I always have water. I have a couple things of water, but I always have the Gatorade and the electrolyte packets.
Yep. And I now carry it with me.
It's just out of habit. It's my wife makes fun of me, but it's always
Nothing wrong with that.
no. Especially if you get broken down again, or just if you're in and out of the vehicle, or you're off roading, or I got some courses coming up in July, and we're going to be down in Brevard County. I'm going to be using a lot of fluids.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Another thing that people don't even think about, sunglasses.
Oh yeah,
The sun's hard on our eyes.
yes.
Even sitting in here in fluorescence, it's hard on us. So protect those eyes. Anything else that you can think of?
I think that's it. Might be our time.
It might be that.
You want to do that time
Yeah.
now for the tool of the day?
Tool of the day.
All right, tool of the day.
Hey, you see that idiot?
What the hell are you doing?
What are you doing?
What you think you're doing, you stupid idiot?
It's the Off-Road Toolbox Tool of the Day.
Are you some kind of moron?
All right. This one comes from a nice little group. They went over in Citrus County, that area. They were off-roading and found themselves stopped by a Florida Fish and Wildlife officer.
Rut row.
Yes. And here's the nice thing, or the good thing. The officer was really good about it. She saw they weren't cutting anything up. They were talking. They're just driving. They were in a closed area. So the first thing, she stopped them all like, hey guys, got all their information. And usually it can be expensive. Tickets, yep. And they're like, well, we were doing this, doing that. And so she goes, what app were you running? Well, let me see your navigation apps. And they didn't have the one for the forest roads. And she goes, lesson learned, get one for the forest roads, and it's going to tell you what roads you can drive on, which are open and closed.
Right.
So a great conversation they had with everybody. They actually ended up taking a picture with her, and I posted it on our Facebook page. They took a picture with her, really good. She educated them. She didn't cite anybody, got everybody back on the right place. And when they got back there, they found out they actually drove past the closed road sign. It wasn't clearly marked, kind of. You have to look for it because sometimes the brush and the branches grow up.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
So, again, great experience. And to the officer, great job for just educating. But now, had they been tearing things up,
oh, yeah,
she would have wrote them tickets. But they weren't. They were going slow. They were just doing their thing,
They're out sightseeing, enjoying the day.
It was a good Jeep club. And speaking with the group, the Jeep people, they have less problems with Jeep people than they do a lot of the other groups. Which is good most of the time, which is really good for everybody. So again, know where you're going, pay attention to things, and have your updated either if you don't have the map book, because you can download and print the map book, or have it downloaded and have the good information.
Without a doubt.
So,
all right.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. Make sure to check out bestpricetrailers.com for any of your trailer needs. These guys are awesome. We're going to have them in here sometime in the near future. And you can catch us on Facebook at Off-Road Toolbox. And also you can catch us at offroadtoolbox.com and on JBR Radio.
And there you have it. Don't you feel smarter now? We'll drop more knowledge on you soon. Thanks for listening to the Off-Road Toolbox, powered by Best Price Trailers.